Greetings and salutations, comic book conversationalists. This is Comic Book Hangover. My name is Scott, and here we are for an actual done weekly haul video. Trying to get back now into doing reviews, but having to have time to read my books is another thing altogether. So I don't know. I'm gonna figure something out as I always do. But this week is kind of a small week for me. So what I want to do, as well as share the few books that I picked up this week, show off some of the magazines that I got. I was actually able to get into my storage unit, and with the intention of just getting the rest of our movies out of storage, because I was concerned with them going through another summer in storage, and also now that there's this whole thing with Warner Brothers and disc rot, I wanted to get those out of storage, because they're going to rot no matter what. If they are prone to rotting, they're going to do it. But if you take some care of them, that'll slow the process down a little bit, from what I understand. I don't know if it's true, but going through the movies that I have that are from Warner Brothers that are part of the disc rot situation, most of them I've already repurchased with the repackaging, so they're not the same pressings, or I upgraded them to Blu-ray. So there's very few in my collection that I think are part of the whole disc rot thing. But I wanted to get those, and part of getting those meant that I inadvertently wanted to get in my magazines. I have a short box or a long box, a magazine box here. I don't think they make long boxes for magazines, but I have one that's full. So I'm going to share some of those that were in there as well, along with this video. So getting into my books, the first one I picked up actually isn't for me. It's for my wife. She likes this show. It is Adventure Time. Myself, I personally can't stand the show, but my wife likes it. My kids like it. And, you know, it's something comic book that I can get for my wife. Made her happy. I don't know if she'll read it. Hopefully she does. If she does and she likes it, then I'll just add it to my pull list and get her to the rest of them. Not a big deal. Now, for myself, I got, of course, Facsimile edition, but this was kind of unusual since I'm not a Star Wars fan at all. I was a Star Wars fan when I was a kid, when it was just 3, when we used to call it Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi, before all this whole episode nonsense. I was a Star Wars fan, but it's pretty much the only thing from my childhood that I grew out of. Everything else, from my comic books to Godzilla. This is my Godzilla versus Marvel Universe poster, by the way. I managed to get some long holders for it. It's one of the benefits of working in a comic books, or not a comic book, a video store, when it unfortunately closed down, is I got a lot of the fixtures for the posters and whatnot. So I'm able to put that poster up now. But Star Wars was the only thing that I really grew out of. So this is a little unusual. I think it's actually one of the only Star Wars books in my entire collection, and that is the Facsimile edition reprint of Marvel's Star Wars #1. From way back in the late 70s, so that's pretty interesting. As far as regular books go that I am going to be reading, Return of the Living Dead, #3. I almost said part 3. But that's a pretty sweet cover. I like that cover, a little Tarman sort of action there. Great coloring. I love that. The detail on it's really good. This, I think, would make a great blacklight poster. For those of you who are a little bit older, may remember what blacklight posters are. This, I think, would make a really good blacklight poster. Then I got Transformers. We have Transformers #17, the second print. It's the first Conehead cover. I had to grab that. I'm not too big on the Coneheads, but they're interesting to look at. And finally, I got Transformers #19, Megatron versus Sharkticons. I'm hoping Megs is actually in this one, because I really want to see how they portray his personality and his worldview in this series. So that's all the new books that I picked up this week. Now, as far as the books that were in my magazine box, here's a couple of them. I got a small stack here already. I have some more original ECs. So I've got an original EC for, and these are not in the best of condition, but I like the fact that I have some original ECs despite them not being in the best condition. So I have Tales from the Crypt #22. It's probably the best of the bunch. I do have a Haunt of Fear that I have graded, but this one I might send in to get graded just because it's the best of the bunch of what I had this ungraded. So there's that one. This one's slightly more, actually quite a bit more beat up, but I mean, these books are from the 50s. These books are 50 years old. We got The Haunt of Fear #20. from it says here 1953. So these are very, very old books. You can tell it's showing his age. It's actually, I think at 50 years, an item is officially an antique, from what I understand. So there you go. There's that one. And this, I think, is actually the worst one. This was the hardest one to put in a bag because it is falling apart. It is deteriorating, but it is also Crime Suspense Stories number 13, 1952. So again, you can see that that's really beat up. I won't be sending this one to get graded. They'll probably get a point nothing. Magazines that I have, and this one, I'm so glad I have this one. This one I'm probably going to send in to get graded just because to me, it's just an iconic magazine. It's an important magazine to me. It's one I almost got signed, and it is from 1979. Man, I love this cover. The very first issue of Fangoria magazine. Now, a few years ago, the man who was in the suit in the original Godzilla movie was going to be at a convention that I was going to, and I was going to take this magazine. The only reason why I wanted to go was to take this magazine and have him sign it and to tell that man thank you. But about 2 weeks before the show, he unfortunately passed away, and I was never able to get it signed, but I came that close to it. But I still have my magazine, and I still have much love and respect for the men and women who made these movies possible. So I got Fangoria number 1, one of my favorite magazines. Another one of my favorite magazines, Gore Zone, also the first issue. This is a series I'm trying to get the full run for. I might actually, since comic books, I pretty much got all the books that I want, I might switch to magazines. For Fangoria, I want to get the first 100 issues of that run. I used to have most of them, but I sold them off. I'm going to try to get them back. But there's Gore Zone number 1. I believe that still has the posters in it. Other magazines. This is the second issue of a UK magazine, I believe. Slaughterhouse. Mainly grabbed this one because of that awesome Freddy cover. I think this is from an episode of Freddy's Nightmares. Could be wrong. It's been a while since I've seen any of those. So it's either Freddy's Nightmares or Nightmare on Elm Street 4. It ain't Dr. Seuss, as he says. The first issue of Toxic Horror. This is great. I think this is a direct edition, direct market version because it doesn't have a barcode on it. But we got, the greats, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers. This is before we had nonsense like Saw and Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Back when horror was a little bit more pure, it was a little, very much unapologetic about what it was. And we didn't have all this self-referential crap that was in there. But Toxic Horror. This has got to be another direct edition. The first, actually I have both of these, but I love this cover. The Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger's Nightmare on Elm Street comic magazine from Marvel. Love that cover. That is a brilliant cover. I'd like to get that on a poster. And something that is also very near and dear to me because I was at this event. This is the magazine or the program for WWF WrestleMania 3. It's hard to believe they're on WrestleMania 41 or 42 or something like that now. I don't really watch it that much anymore. But WrestleMania 3, back when wrestling was fun to watch, this is the one that I went to. I still remember the day that I came home from school. My dad handed me an envelope and said, "Here, look in there." And I looked in there, and there were 3 tickets for WrestleMania. Actually, no, it was 2 tickets. There was 3 of us that went to the Rolling Stones, but my dad and I, wound up going to WrestleMania 3 at the Pontiac Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. So this is the magazine that was not the original one that I had. That one's long since been beat up and destroyed. But this is I was able to pick up another copy of it because I went to it. I want to have it. So there you go. There's some of the magazines that I have in my collection. If there's enough interest in that, I'll go through all of my magazines. I think I did it once before, but I may have picked up a few more magazines since then. So maybe it's time to update some of these videos that I've done. But there you go. That's it. Everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all your support. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, view, share, and all that fun stuff. And I will see everybody next week with another weekly comic book haul. We'll see you later. Bye.